The other day, I showed off the great monster comics from Jack the King Kirby, but today, I want to show off something from Fantagraphics Underground's imprint that is a love letter to those exact comics. And that is Doris Danger, Giant Monsters Amok by Wisnia. This is one of the most interesting comics you'll ever see. It's such a fun, interesting project. I promise you, you're going to want to take a look at this. It's something new and different that you might not know about or be aware of, and then you're going to want to get your hands on it. So stay tuned and watch this video until the end. And we're back. My name is Taylor. This is Taylor Talks Comics. Thank you for joining me on my 31 days of horror comics that I'm doing all throughout the month of October. Please subscribe so you don't miss out on any of those videos. And if you have missed out on some of them, I have a handy-dandy playlist set up. If you go to the playlist section of my channel, you can go there and scroll through and see the videos that I've done for the month so far, since I've done one for every day, so, in October. Also give the video a thumbs up, comment down below with your thoughts, all that jazz. And yeah, so today we're talking about Doris Danger, Giant Monsters Amok by Wisnia, with some help by Ricky Sprague. This is such a fun project. I hope that you stick around and watch this and give it a shot, because I think Wisnia is a awesome and creative mind within the comic book industry, and I think he deserves more love. But yeah, this is from Fantagraphics Underground. You can see the logo here on the bottom of the spine, which means it gets a smaller print run. So if this is a book that catches your eye and interests you, I wouldn't hesitate too long in trying to pick it up. And then here's the back of the book, and you see Fantagraphics Underground. And you get some cool blurbs here, which we'll get into more of. But you get like Mike Allred, Brian Azzarello, Tim Bradstreet, Peter Bagg, Steve Bissett, Dick Ayers, Jeffrey Brown. Like, what more could you want? And Stan Lee, who says, "I read it anyway." It's hilarious. So you open it up and you got a cool in sheet here on the inside cover. And then you have this, and it says, "Property of President John F. Kennedy," and that's marked out in crayon and written Brad G. to make it look like it's actually written on. And there's so many cool little treatments of that throughout here. And there are a bunch of variant covers and pinups done by a bunch of artists here, which I'll just focus in on that, and you can pause the video if you want to see who's all included in that. But it's really like a who's who of cartoonists included in here. And then here's all of the blurbs of people that Wisnia had read this comic for reviews. And I love, it's kind of a story in itself here, because you'll see like Evan Dorkin, Dave Gibbons, Stephen Grant, Gilbert Hernandez, Mario Hernandez, Stan Lee. And Stan Lee even writes, "The title alone should have warned me off, but I read it anyway." That's where you get the blurb right there. There's one of them that says like, they have one blurb, and then it said, and then they have a second blurb that says, "Oh, okay, now I actually read it and I still think it's awesome," or something like that. Here's a table of contents. So all these stories are included in it. Great table of contents if you want to go back and forth. And it has even the pinups too if you want to look for certain artists. And then here's the introduction with how to read and important. Tabloia takes quality seriously. A note about the archival integrity. This is all kind of kayfabe stuff of Wisnia talking about the project itself, but also where these comics came from and how they came about. And then some of the behind the scenes of the production of it. And this written by Rob Oder, the editor-in-chief of Tabloia Weekly Magazine, where these were originally, quote-unquote, serialized. And the whole thing is kind of like this found footage idea. And it's Wisnia swiping a lot of classic Jack Kirby monster comics and drawing his own kind of versions of them with his Doris Day character. So he's adding like a continuity to them. So, like I said, I showed off the other day the monster buses of Jack Kirby, which is a perfect precursor to this, because those all have these giant monsters that Jack Kirby did in the late 50s, early 60s. Again, like crayon written all over this page as if it's a found comic that Wisnia found and then wanted to reprint. But none of those comics that Jack Kirby did in those monster buses had any sort of continuity. There's all 6 to 8 page strips with a brand new story each time. This adds a narrative throughout the whole thing. So this is true tabloid romance. So he's doing a riff on a romance cover, and you see Doris Danger in the back. So there's actually a continuity throughout these, and there's even like these fake letter pages included in here as well. And then some of the pinups, like this is Bill Sienkiewicz. Like like, who doesn't want Bill Sienkiewicz drawing giant monsters? Like, this is amazing stuff. These pinups, and I love all the production techniques in here. Here's Mario Hernandez doing a piece, and then Gilbert Hernandez drawing a piece. But like this, like how it looks like it's been overrun on the printing quality, like or like the ink rubbed off on from one page to the other, and it caused a printing issue or a preservation issue, or even maybe there's some bleed through on the page before it. That's not present at all. But he added that in there as if we've all gotten comics out of the back issue bin that look like this. And the fact that he's able to recreate that's just quite amazing. And the challenges of weekly deadlines. And on top of that, that's Rob Oder writing some more kayfabe editorial stuff. On top of all of that, so this project obviously is unique with the production quality of it, the fun kind of swiping nature of it, the adding some continuity to these stories, bit of it, the pinups all included. But the best part of it all, that pulls it all together, is how funny these comics are. Chris Wisnia has a really funny comedic mind that he takes that kind of dry, over the top, kind of tongue-in-cheek type comedy that you would enjoy from comics of this era, or like think of it like Adam West Batman. I love Brad too. He's always constantly in different markers or crayons writing different reviews of these comics. Boring. So boring. Like, it's just funny. Brad is such a jerk. But Brad colors her face yellow. So all the little found footage but found comics type technique to them. But they're so funny. Like, I think he even says in one of the pieces, either front or back, maybe this, I can't remember what the back matter looks like. Chris Wisnia will talk about how like this is perfect for reading on a toilet. Like, it's just like that kind of vibe that he's trying to go for here. And I love the yellowed newsprint pages where it looks like, again, these are like photocopied and put onto this pasty white paper, this stark white paper, as if they're old comics. Like, I love those kind of production techniques anyways. I'm like always a geek for that. Like Jim Rugg and Ed Piskor are always great for that. He's a great is this Arthur Adams? Yeah, Arthur Adams right there. I was going to say it looks like Arthur Adams doing an incredible piece. Oh, here's Sal Buscema doing a piece in 2006 of Fin Fang Foom. And like the funny jokes about the names too, if you remember the video I did the other day with the Jack Kirby monster buses. They always have goofy names, but this is Ga, Gay, Goo, Ga. And like, again, like the off-register printing of techniques of a lot of this. It's just so funny, so fun and imaginative. And yeah, I geek out about these things, about just these production techniques. Like I was saying, like Jim Rugg and Ed Piskor did a great, Tom Scioli's another one that does it. But I think this is like the most extreme case I've seen, and it's amazing for that. Here's Mike Allred doing a Kirby monster with Madman. And it's for Chris. Oh, William Stout did one. William Stout's a great cartoonist as well. Golden versus Silver Age. So, again, these little editorials throughout here as well. It's like a whole overall package and story being told with this, like, these found comics, which is like the found footage type genre of horror movies that we're getting, but like found comics, but as if, I can't explain it, like as if Chris Wisnia found all these comics and like stuck them together and is like telling a story throughout all of them. But it's not even that, because he actually drew like all of these, again, with swiping a lot of Kirby's panels and whatever, but created this narrative and then created this whole behind the scenes narrative in addition to that. Here's Jeffrey Brown. Just amazing. Is that Herb Trippy? Yeah, that's Herb Trippy on that piece. It's just so much fun. Like, I don't know that there's how many comic books out there I can say I had more fun than this. Cheesed. I said cheese. Just, I can't express enough how much I love this book. And I hope that Chris Wisnia, I don't know what he's working on now. I think when I first got this book and I was reading it, I was posting on social media that I was reading it. Chris Wisnia and I went back and forth in the DMs, and he's telling me he's working on something else too. I can't remember if it was more of this or a whole new project. But just the creative mind that Chris Wisnia had to do this. Like, this one looks like it was completely like water damage or something. I don't know what he did to this page, but him making it look like it was a book that you found, I don't know, in someone's backyard maybe. and still getting it together for this book. Oh, is that Mark Baudet? Stupid. Like Brad G again. He's just a jerk. Who is Brad G? Here's like a coffee stain on that. It's so much fun. Like, who doesn't want to read all this stuff? And if you're, if you feel like you can't read the, get the poop scoop, fans. If you feel like you can't read the 50s Jack Kirby comics because of their dated dialogue or whatever, like maybe this would be more of your vibe because it has some modern day, more funny, humorous dialogue throughout it. And it has like an ongoing narrative. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think of this project. I think it's one of the most unique and fun projects of comics that I've read in ages. I can't express enough how much I love this book. Please give the video a thumbs up. Comment down below with your thoughts on this. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm doing 31 days of horror comics, so you don't want to miss out on that. And share my videos with your friends and family. Like if you're in a comic book group on Facebook or Reddit or whatever, when people are talking about horror comics, share my videos. I'd appreciate that as well. That would go a long way. And keep reading comics. Keep talking comics. Have a great